So you probably heard the data. 70% of change initiatives in business fail to meet their intended result. There's got to be a better way! And I've got an idea. Let's get it. Implementing a big change initiative in a business or an organization, one that requires a lot of different input from individuals across many functions or different teams, oftentimes fails to meet its intended result. Yet billions of dollars are spent every year towards these large-scale change initiatives. So there's got to be a better way. By the end of this video, you'll understand what I believe we've been getting wrong about large-scale change, what the success of your change effort is 90% reliant upon, and a better way to lead large-scale change initiatives that I've built a multi-million-dollar business around. So what have we been getting wrong about large-scale change in business? I believe it's undervaluing the significance of acknowledging and embracing emotion. So often when we're going through really big change or big changes been introduced, leaders acknowledge, hey, this is going to be tough. It's going to be very difficult. But then as you continue to progress through the journey, it's kind of a grit your teeth and bear it. Just get through it. If we get to this milestone, we'll have a celebration. Great. Then we'll just need to keep going. But I think it's so important that as you're moving through the change journey, you're leveraging data-driven insights to help you understand the emotional landscape of the organization. You see, emotion is energy. It's energy that we can use on the individual level to fuel ourselves moving forward, to fuel our personal growth, and then in doing so, the growth of the business, and ultimately fueling the success of our change initiatives. I think that it is imperative as business leaders, as owners, that we embrace and acknowledge the very real emotions of change and find ways to leverage the power of that energy to fuel our change initiatives, as opposed to letting that emotion stall us or even stop us in our tracks. I have a friend and colleague who works in one of the major consulting firms, the Big Three, and through all of his many years working in that consultancy, he has discovered that 10% of successful change adoption is about know-how. Having the knowledge, having the tools, having the processes to actually get through the change. The other 90% is squarely focused on the motivation and the willingness of making that change happen. And that hits at your people. Your people. They're the ones that make the change happen. Not your processes, not the software, not the tools, not the equipment. It's the people. Their hearts, minds, and their energy to move that change forward. So let me just hit you with some stats about change and emotion in the workplace that we've learned through Change Enthusiasm Global, my consulting company, in partnership with the leading research institute, CGK. 59% of Americans feel powerless when change happens to them, like there's nothing they can do about it. The number one emotion experienced by Americans in the workplace going through change is anxiety. 78% of Americans are more likely to engage in change in the workplace when they feel comfortable expressing their truest emotions. 77% of Americans find that more often than not, after experiencing change in the workplace, they find at least one thing that helps them grow. By the way, to get these types of stats relevant to where you are, your corner of the world, be sure to visit www.changeenthusiasmglobal.com. And finally, 82% of Americans accept that growth often requires feeling uncomfortable. By the way, if you're getting jazzed about these stats, make sure you subscribe. I drop all kinds of knowledge, all of our research, insights, and perspective through these videos. So make sure you subscribe so you're one of the first to get notified when a new video drops. All right, let's get back into it. At Change Enthusiasm Global, pulling from extensive insights like the ones that I just shared, we work with clients all over the world to help employees harness the power of emotion to fuel their growth through change. Not just the growth of their business, but the growth of those employees, the individuals, at a personal level. At Change Enthusiasm Global, by using extensive insights and data, like the points that I just shared, we partnered with clients all over the world as they're leading large-scale change to shift focus to empowering the individual to fuel their growth through change, and in turn, the growth of the business through even the most complex change initiatives. Our work is centered on the strategy of change enthusiasm, which enables the individual who practices it the ability to harness the power of emotion to fuel growth through change. And something really interesting arose as we were conducting these studies all around the world. As we did our work in the US and in Western Europe, we found that the most common emotion experienced when going through change was anxiety. When there's a lot of unknowns, when there's more questions than answers, anxiety can run rampant. That's when it really likes to breed. But something that we discovered in the Asian markets that I honestly think is their competitive advantage, the number one emotion that they experience during disruption and uncertainty is hope. And it was honestly through this study that we've come to embrace that not only are those emotions that signal us into opportunity the difficult ones like anxiety or fear, frustration, but one uniquely that is also a growth-sustaining emotion to help move you through change is hope. Hope serves as a signal emotion, inviting us into opportunity to grow. You see, in the Asian markets, one that has for many, many years outpaced the rest of the world in rapid growth and economic development across many different industry verticals, that number one emotion is hope. In the face of unknowns, they believe, they trust that something good is in store. The business will grow and they will grow. And it's that hope that fuels them into their opportunity to understand how can they grow, how can they learn, how can they evolve in that disruption, in that uncertainty, choosing how they do that for themselves and for the business. And I think that's something that we can all learn from. Not only do those difficult emotions like anxiety signal us into opportunity, but so does the emotion of hope. So if your interest is piqued and you maybe want to learn a little bit more about change enthusiasm, I've got something else for you. I actually want to gift you a chapter within the book. It's the introduction to change enthusiasm, the mindset to harness the power of emotion to fuel growth through change that's honestly taking the business world by storm. It's yours for free today. All you got to do is click on the link below. I want to make sure that you have the data, the insights, the research to successfully fuel your growth through any change, through any disruption. I'm Cassandra Worthy, and until next time, keep growing and keep rocking.